Welcome to the beautiful, sunny and hot Abu Dhabi, and welcome to the next stage of the World Championship for 2025. Here with the Drone Champions League, our teams have been battling. 4 have made it to here. One of them is going to be the winner of the first ever DCL Falcon Cup. At the ADNEC Centre, the audience packed the stands, excited to see the DCL's pilots in action. So we built them a track with fewer gates, but more laps to showcase our pilots' speed. To race here in Abu Dhabi, the teams have been battling in our regular season, and after Phoenix, the new team lost to Raiden and Cyclone, and Quad Force 1 lost twice to the wildcard team. The other battles ended up with the following seeding: the wildcard team here in 4th, Cyclone, the reigning world champions, 3rd, Raiden a 2nd, and here's the number 1. So congratulations to SDT, Spain drone team, who are here as the number 1 seed, and every team brings 2 pilots. They've got Sali 1 alongside the young 16-year-old Plat on air for their race against these opponents. The DCL wildcard team featuring this pilot, Danube, who used to be the captain of their opponents in the first matchup, SDT. There's Gilbert alongside him as well. But yes, very spicy when somebody races against their old team. The Falcon Cup Finals kick off then with Sali 1 of SDT against Danube from the wildcard team. And it's Sali 1 who gets the start first, and you can turn left or right out of the bottom gate there as you head up to complete a ladder. Later on this first lap, we see there's a chase going on. Sali 1 pursuing Danube through the ladder, both of them turning left this time. Then there's a split S coming up where Sali 1 just squeezes past Danube, and they're so close. And they come together, but just manage to keep them both still flying through the Orca gate and around to pursue towards the end of lap number 2. Through the UNICEF gate, Danube still on the lead, but Sali 1 looked like he was quicker for a moment and then a little bit more hesitant coming out of the ladder. I think he's picking his moment, and there it is, through the Orca gate. Sali 1 pushes past Danube, and Danube has to take an extra turn at the far point of the course. That's lost him a lot of time. I think he was either going to miss the next gate or wanted to drop some speed before he went for it. So I think it was intentional, but it's cost him about half a lap here, and Sali 1 is gaining on him very quickly. Sali 1 into the ladder, up and out, and now through the split S at the far end, and he's in pursuit, most of a lap ahead of Danube, and gaining on him all the time as on the opposite side of the track. Danube is going through the ladder, but I think he's taking an extra turn before it to try and keep it safe, and so now with a hesitant split S exit, Sali 1 is surely going to lap him, and he does at the Orca gate. No coming together this time, but Danube hits the gem fan gate and goes down. He is recovering it though, as Sali 1 has finished the race, and he's going to head back to put that drone down with the first win of the day for SDT. Congratulations Sali 1. Now let's see their 2 teammates. It's Plat on air for SDT and Gilbert for the wildcard team, and it's the red drone of Gilbert's wildcard team that goes first. Just slightly slower than we saw in the earlier race, and Plat on air behind him at the moment through the split S. And this looks a little bit more cautious from both of them, although Gilbert has already pulled a decent lead over Plat on air. I think this is a little bit of a cautious first run of the day for them, as they know how important it is to finish a race. That's the only way you score any points for your team. If you crash, you're not going to get anything. There's Gilbert just ahead of Plat on air. He's turning a bit wide for the UNICEF gate, and in fact there's a full 360 in front of it. And Gilbert has hit the top of the split S and is going nowhere else. That's not coming out of there. That is embedded in the top of the split S. Plat on air with a few more wild turns is coming towards the end of another lap. There's his ladder upwards as he's going to pass Gilbert, still glowing in red, and you can see it on the other side of the split S. That's how hard he's hit that gate. He's almost come out the other side. Plat on air gets his first win of the Falcon Cup season after Gilbert crashes out with nothing. So yes, very important to finish. Now it's the DCL Big Heat all 4 pilots. 10 points up for grabs, and SDT with the better of the starts, although one of their pilots has to double back and make it, and Gilbert's into the roof for the wildcard team. He's clipped the inside of the ladder, skied it afterwards, trying to keep it off the floor, and when a drone goes into a netting, no matter how much the pilot wants it back, and you can see it still twitching around as Gilbert is trying to free it. Usually though, it just gets more tangled as the pilot tries. So out in front is Platoneri, moved past Sally 1, as Sally 1 was a bit hesitant on one of the earlier gates too. There's Danube going through the top of the ladder and into the split S. And it might look like he's ahead of the 2 drones from SDT, but in fact they are almost a lap ahead of him. And that gap is closing all the time. SDT did some very smart tactical flying during this season, leading up to them becoming the #1 seeds here. I think we're about to see a little bit of caution as they are choosing their moment to try and go past Danube, because they definitely don't want to crash into him. Usually in the mid-air, the drone at the back is the one that comes down. Now we're laddering up. Sully One's lost some more time on Platon, and Platon's trying to push now. Oh, but he's had to pull out of that turn and go a little bit high, so Sally One's got past him and past Danube all in one go. Now he can stretch away from there, and Platon would love to get past Danube as well. Lapping the former captain of SDT would be a big statement for Platon to make in his first real-life race with the DCL, but he's smartly playing it safe, and they're going to be delighted with a big win in the first matchup today. And Danube absolutely smashes his drone into the Orca gate so hard he's taken the front and back of it down. Hit it with such force to make part of the other side collapse. Wow, that is some impact. He's third behind this pair from SDT. And that is a straightforward first matchup for Spain drone team, beating the wildcard team 15 points to 5. So the wildcard team will be in the rebound match later on to try and stay in the Falcon Cup Finals, whereas SDT are through to the semi-final. Now let's see who else is going to join them. These are Raiden Racing from Japan, the former 2-time DCL World Champions. They lost the title in 2023. They'd like to get it back for 2025, and it's currently in the hands of these. The reigning world champions of the Drone Champions League, it's Cyclone Racing from the USA, who've brought Yayu and Killian Russo to race for them. They won every final in 2024. They'd love to win the first Falcon Cup. The matchups begin with Vicen Mayan from Raiden against Yayu from Cyclone. It's Raiden in orange, Cyclone in purple, and an interesting route by Yayu, swinging from one side to another to get through the ladder and only just managing to do so. So Vicen Mayan with a little bit of a lead over him as they come around to complete their first lap. Vicen just ahead of Yayu. Now on to the next one. Here's the split S. Nice and tight by both of them. So Yayu not just gaining too much on Vicen just yet. Now they come around the curve to head back through the UNICEF gate into the ladder for the next time. And Yayu chasing down Vicen and getting closer. And this might be his push. And they're so tight at the bottom of the split S, and Vicen's had to double back. So Yayu's getting away, but he hits the bottom of the next gate on the far turn, and he's on the floor. He's not necessarily out though. That drone's still twitching. He's trying to recover it with turtle mode and get it back off the floor, and he will do so. But Vicen is about half a lap ahead of Yayu now. And now he makes his way with Yayu on the other side. So Vicen will be told by his team, you've basically got this in the bag, don't do anything crazy. And Yayu, although he'll desperately want to catch him, his team might be smartly telling him, okay, finish this. There's a little bit too much for you to do to try and catch a pilot as good as Vicen Mayan. Just get it round and get the 3 points, which he does. The 4 points for the win, though, they go to Vicen Mayan. That's his 4th win of the season. Now we've got Yuki for Raiden against Killian from Cyclone, and Yuki with the better of the starts there, but very quick for both of them. Now these pilots know each other extremely well, raced against each other for many years. Yuki's the reigning individual world champion with the FAI, as well as the former 2-time world champion here in the DCL. Killian, though, he's one of only 2 pilots who've won the DCL World Championship with 2 different teams. And his teammate here in Abu Dhabi, Yayu, he's the other pilot who's done that incredible record. So, a lot of talent here on track. Yuki still in the lead ahead of Killian, weaving his way now a bit wildly, and oh, that's a big crash, hitting the gate at the bottom of the ladder. Yayu's past him, and you can see Yuki's drone trying to get back off the floor. I think he might be able to get that back into the air unless it's taken too much damage. Killian has now gone another lap round. There's a ladder and a split S from him with no trouble, and Yuki is nowhere to be seen. It's lights out for him, and it's 4 points for Killian. But without any points for Yuki, that means Raiden have gone from being 4-3 in the lead to trailing 7 points to 4. Now they're underway, but the first stroke for Raiden is obliterated at the top of the split S. It's for Mayan's. Down and in many, many pieces in Abu Dhabi. His teammate Yuki is out in the lead, and Killian clips part of the damaged gate that Vicen smashed into. So Killian's still flying, lights on in 2nd place, and Yayu, his teammate, is in 3rd, but his lights are off. He's into the side netting, he won't get it back from there. It's 2 drones left, Yuki in the lead, Killian chasing him, and this is the race that we had just now where Yuki had crashed and Killian had a lot of it to himself. But Yuki with a big lead over Killian at the moment, and it looks like he's feeling a lot more confident on this track, although that's slow and dangerous, but it is also very fast. Killian very high on the turn into the split S before he did that very aggressive invert to come down and attack it on the exit. That's how you do it quickly if you're one of the best in the world. But he's still not going to catch Yuki, who's going to get 4 for Raiden, but that won't be enough, as Killian's going to get 3. Let's hear what they had to say to each other.
GG, bro. I was right behind you the whole flight. I was nervous. Cannot budge.
Yuki's win isn't enough after Vicen Mayan's giant crash. They lose 10 points to 8. Raiden are in the rebound. So of the 4 teams who qualified for the Falcon Cup Finals, SDT and Cyclone will be meeting each other for the first spot in the Grand Final. But now we're going to give the other 2 teams a second chance in what we call the Rebound round. Here's Yuki from Raiden looking a bit more relaxed now he's got that first win. And Vicen Mayans, he's no stranger to dealing with pressure. He'll have already forgotten about that big crash. On the other side, it's the DCL Wildcard team. Now, the Wildcard team only in recent years has managed to make it to a finals, but they've never finished higher than 4th. If they want to surpass that and keep flying in Abu Dhabi, they have to beat Raiden now. First to do battle, Danube from the Wildcard team against Vicen Mayans from Raiden. And that is Vicen Mayan's drone in the orange, coming very close to an otherwise not very well lit Danube. His drone's LEDs don't seem to be working, but under the rules he can still keep flying, so just keep an eye on him as he moves past Vicen Mayans and now tries to push forwards. He was a little low coming to the entrance of the split S, but he's very quick through it. Now, Danube still in the lead, coming back towards the UNICEF gate, and the A2RL has caught him out. No, he's rolled off of that and into the ladder, and that's taken him. No, after he tripped at the A2RL gate and that spun him sideways. It was a great save from there, but in his haste to get back into the race, he was caught out just here on the entrance to that ladder, which Vicen Mayans flying through. And as he does so, Danube is going to be watching him from the side netting, just dangling there, out of reach. Nothing he can do to get it out of there. And Vicen Mayans is not hanging about as he gets 4 more points for his team. That's 2 wins for him, but Danube, well, you don't want to be scoring 0 against any team, let alone Raiden, and let alone when you're in the rebound match and you've got no more chances after this. Now Gilbert will take on Yuki. So Gilbert attacks. Ooh, very wide and swingy on the ladder, not very tidy, a little bit wide on the exit of the split S, and now he's coming really fast, and the Yorker gate has taken another big hit. And that red, beautiful glow, that's Gilbert. Underneath, the bits that have broken off thanks to him. His race is done. I can't see a drone getting out of there. Yuki will be flying over it there, and you can still see it brightly lit up as Yuki heads back the other way. Gilbert had to send that after his teammate didn't score in the previous race against Vicen Mayan. But when you're racing Yuki, there are very few pilots in the world who can beat him. Maybe a smarter move would have been to race round, get 3 points in this battle, and then see what happens in the big heat. Not for this time though. Yuki with another win. That's 2 out of 3 for him. Will he get his 3rd? Will Vicen get his 2nd? Can the wildcard team make it a tighter battle? We're off now, and Raiden in the first 2 spots, and the wildcard team are coming together! No, it's in mid-air between them at the ladder, and again at the split S! 2 drones go in, only 1 red one comes out the other side. As Danube is taking his goggles off, he's in the netting, and he's done. Here's Gilbert now coming towards the split S, and is all over the floor. What a big crash that one was, knocking another part off of one of our gates, this time the split S. And it's all over for the wildcard team. As simple as that. They are done. They are not flying. There's a lot of points coming Raiden's way, and it's going to be a clean sweep of them. Now Yuki's in the lead, ahead of his teammate Vicen Mayans, and they're the only ones racing around the ADNEC Centre, battling a little bit for pride, but also getting some valuable stick time as they're going to carry on in the tournament, whereas the wildcard team are going to be out in 4th place. And what a disappointing way to do it, having a mid-air between your teammates, and not just one, but amazingly both surviving that first mid-air, and then they had a 2nd. Most drones wouldn't continue flying after 1, let alone 2, but maybe some damage was what led to Gilbert's really big crash, but of course there are always big smiles after the race. And with that, Yuki gets another win and helps his team eliminate the wildcards 15-0. So the wildcard team will finish the Falcon Cup in 4th place. That'll get them some points towards the World Championship at the end of the year. Now let's go back to the undefeated side. SDT, Spain drone team. They were the ones who got that first win over the wildcard team, and it was 15 points to 5 when they did. So that's 1 win for them. Now they're going to be battling in the semi-final, and their opponents, they're Cyclone Racing, who narrowly beat Raiden 10 points to 8. SDT had never beaten Cyclone in all their matchups until the last time they met. This would be a great time to do it again. Sally1 has won 2 races so far. Yayu still chasing his fast. And Yayu from Cyclone Racing in purple. Sally1 just slightly hesitantly behind him in green for SDT, and in 2nd place at the moment as they go through what's left of the split S gate. Still totally flyable after the wildcard team took a few chunks out of it. And Sally1, surprisingly, got a bit of catching up to do in just the first lap of these as Yayu is out through the top and coming back through the split S. And Sally1 only just reaching it. Yes, it's about 2 seconds between them, and now Sally1 starts to push. And yes, he's got a few more laps, but Yayu is not an easy pilot to catch. So Yayu now out of the bottom of the split S, underneath Sally1, who's trying to get on. It's going wrong for Sally1. He's down. There he is on the floor at the bottom of the split S. Yayu can wrap this one up, take 4 points for Cyclone. He was always going to be tough to beat, but Sally1's drone on the floor is doing nothing for him. Another big crash at the split S, a win for Yayu. Cyclone Racing with a 4-0 start. Can young Platonair do anything about that against Killian? And it's Killian who launches, and Platonair going out of there, I think, deliberately behind him. This is, I think, a tactical bit of flying, like I mentioned STT seem to do. Killian is incredibly hard to catch, one of the very, very best pilots in the world. Platon Air has been racing real-life drones as well as in the simulator for a few years, and he's been very, very good in our simulator, but this is the first real-life track he's flown on in the Drone Champions League. Most pilots in the world would be struggling to beat Killian. I think what Platon Air is doing here is not doing anything recklessly, but instead thinking, I don't want to crash and concede 4-0 to Killian. Instead, I'm going to finish, and it'll be 4-3. So yes, they'll outscore my team, but only by the 1 point, not 4. So I think Platon Air is getting some valuable time on course and intending to come in second, although if Killian crashes, then Platon Air can go and steal that win. And yes, Killian is done. Platon Air still flies round. Not much of a challenge, but a very smart bit of tactical flying. Killian gets another win. That's 2 out of 3 for him. Can he get more in the big heat? STT with 5 points to catch up on. It can be done, as your team can win 7 here. And of course, if the other team crash out, then it could be 7-0. That would turn it around for STT. So they're all down through the split S. It's Killian ahead of Sally 1, Platon Air, and then Yayu, and Sally 1 on the floor. And Platon Air moves up into second. Yayu in third and trying to catch him, and it's a little bit wild from Platon Air. He's being pushed by Yayu. I think he's squeezing past him in a second, but Platon Air much faster through the slalom, and Sally 1 is back in the race. Now Killian's just completed 2 laps, out in the lead, and he's close to lapping Sally 1, but his teammate Yayu is on the floor, recovering it now and trying to get back into this. Killian very close to lapping him, and after the ladder, look at that, Yayu pulled back and let Killian past him. Knew he was going to get lapped, got out of the way. That is very unusual to see and extremely smart flying, but Sally 1 was rolling all over the ground underneath them. Killian's on to his final lap. He's well ahead, of course. Behind him, it is Platon Air who's going to be second. And then Sally 1. There's the finish for Killian. He's across the line. Platon Air, yep, secures the second place. Sally 1 is bringing it down. There's third there. And Yayu will be coming in last as Killian just makes his way to the ground. And Yayu just finishes it off. This matchup goes to Cyclone. There's their happy pilots, Killian and Yayu. Yuki from Raiden, he's going to be up next. But Yayu with another win, and Cyclone moving on then, 13 points to 8. So with that win, Cyclone find themselves as the first team into the grand final of the Falcon Cup. And STT losing that matchup but not out yet, as they're going to have a rebound match. And that one is going to be against Raiden for the last place in the grand final. So Raiden looking a little stressed on Vicen's side and very relaxed on Yuki's side. And there's the beautiful yellow drones of the former world champions getting ready. The Greens, well, after a messy battle and a few crashes and some good recoveries, STT have now to win this one. They've lost 1 life, that's put them in the rebound. You've got to beat Raiden to get into a grand final, and STT have never won any of our finals in the Cups or the split seasons or the championships in the past. Raiden, as I mentioned, had won the World Championship twice. Is this going to be their year? A lot of people, including myself, are thinking this could be STT's year, but the Falcon Cup is not going very well for them here in Abu Dhabi. Vicen with a decent lead over Sally 1 already. 1 lap flown. Sally 1, I think, playing this a little more cautiously. Perhaps the team's decision is that he should come in second, like Platon did. But I think Sally 1 could give Vicen a much closer battle than this. He threw it up into the ceiling. What happened to Sally 1? Oh, he has skied that into the ceiling netting. It won't come down from there, I'm 99% sure. What happened to him? He didn't clip the gem fan gate. I don't think anything sent him up there. Maybe just an over-recovery from something he thought was going to happen, or perhaps his confidence is a little bit knocked from the crashes he's had in the earlier rounds. He is out of this run, not going to get that second place. Again, STT are going to concede 4 points to their opposition, and it is the quick-flying Vicen Mayans who's going to get his next win. Coming out of the split S there, and a split S is where you go through the top gate, then double back and come through a gate below you in the opposite direction. A reverse split S is where you would do it from bottom to top. I am surprised so many pilots have been crashing into it, as a split S is an extremely common obstacle in drone racing and in DCL tracks. Vicen gets one of the easier wins in his very, very victorious career. Now Yuki versus Plat on Air. You can't hold anything back here, Plat on Air, unless it's again SDT trying to get that second place. But I think Plat on Air, after what we saw from him earlier, is capable of causing a few surprises. Let's see what comes in this one. We saw him be brilliant with Killian ahead of him. Now he's a couple of seconds behind Yuki already as they're making their way around the second lap. Yuki leading Platon. And I think Platon is not perhaps the fastest on this track, but he is one of the smoothest, and the young 16-year-old is doing brilliantly here. Of course, Yuki, the reigning individual and junior world champion at just the age of 17, a pilot so many people look up to. I'm sure Plat on Air has watched many of Yuki's races and wins, so he must be loving getting the experience to race alongside the champion. And by alongside, I do mean sat alongside him in our pilot area, as there's a decent gap now of, I think, over 5 seconds between Yuki and Plat on Air. It's not a very close challenge. It looks like SDT are going to go to the big heat between these with an 8-3 catching up to do again as Plat on Air makes it through. Only just at the top of the ladder. It was a little bit high, but he's going to bring that drone down. He's completed his 5 laps. He's just actually flying a little bit extra, I think. Yep, they can tell him, okay, you can stop now. You should stop now. Stop now. All good stick time, all good air time, but 4 more points to Yuki and Raiden. Now another DCL big heat, all 4 pilots at the same time, and SDT with a lot to do. They have to come first and second, and they have to hope both of Raiden's pilots crash out, and in fact both of Raiden's pilots get a better start. So SDT already behind. Platon in third, it's Sali1 down at the back, and Platon there is pushing now. He's trying to get past Vicen Mayans. He's come to fight, and he's gone round him. Past him, and second place after the first lap. Sali1 still racing. Vicen Mayans with some catching up to do. As Platon has left him behind, he wants Yuki as well, and he's right with him through the UNICEF gate. He's absolutely fearless. Here comes Platon Air, and they're together, and they're down, and they're rolling on the floor, and Yuki is first to pick it back up and keep flying, and I think, yes, Platon Air is still flying, but he was so close to just rolling into the side netting. There's Sali1. He's down in 4th. Platon Air has got past Yuki and Vicen. He's up into the lead. So this race is getting very spread out and confusing now. So there is Sali1 going through the top of the split S. Behind him, but actually a whole lap in front of him and trying to lap him, is Platon Air, and he squeezes past his teammate. So Platon Air. Then Sali1 is being chased by Yuki, who's about to lap him and does so, squeezes easily past him on the climb up the ladder, as Sali1 was very wide there. Now Platon coming on the right-hand side, swinging very wildly through the A2RL gate. Missed the entrance to the ladder, but has made it through. And I think he's beaten Yuki by about 12 hundredths of a second. He was so close to giving that away. He's going to get the win, and Platon is the only pilot who hasn't crashed on this track. Sali1, his teammate, looks despondent, however, as he's coming in 4th place. So although it is another win for Platon, it is a 13-8 victory for Raiden, and SDT are eliminated. So with that, SDT are eliminated from the Falcon Cup Finals and will finish in 3rd place. And we have a very exciting grand final. Cyclone Racing, the reigning DCL World Champions, got the shortcut route into the grand final. Although they were the 3rd seed coming here, they won both of their matchups so far. And in 2024, they won every matchup they had, except one. And that was the first one of the season against Raiden. Now in 2025, when they met in the regular season, Raiden beat Cyclone. Can they beat them now in the Falcon Cup Finals? Raiden would love to take the first cup of the year. The grand final has 5 races. We're going to do a 1v1 between Yayu and Yuki, then between Vicen Mayans and Killian, and then 3 2v2 races. This one is underway with Yuki ahead of Yayu, and Yuki has 4 wins now on this track, whereas Yayu just the 1, and I don't expect them to play this safe and do this tactic of coming around and securing second. I think Yayu would enjoy a scrap with Yuki any chance he gets, but Yayu is swinging much more widely up and down. Ooh, almost taken out there at the UNICEF gate on the lower section. Yuki is a lot smoother here, and smooth is fast when you're Yuki. He is down the far end of the course, and Yayu is about half a lap behind him now. That's a bit of a surprise between 2 such experienced competitors, although this is much better for Yayu. Now that's a lot more stable. Okay, he's overshot a little at the bottom of the split S, so that's not going to help him catch Yuki, but his elevation is a lot more stable now, and he's going to swing and make that tidier too, but they're on to the final lap. Yuki with a big lead, and it's fast, and it's smooth, and it is going to be 5 wins for him. What a big performance. 5 wins out of 7 races. Yayu, importantly though, he finishes. He'll get the 3 points for second. So congratulations to Yuki, but it's his teammate Vicen Mayan who actually, of these 8 pilots in Abu Dhabi, Vicen is the one who scored the most points in the regular season, and he's racing Killian. That's there, nice and close. Killian a little bit higher and more direct down through the split S. Vicen not quite as straight into it, but I think Vicen was lining up for the gate afterwards. Oh, and he's missed the turn out of Gemfan through the DCL gate. So Killian's got a bit more of a lead now, but he's hit the bottom of the split S, and he's into the netting right in front of the stands. And no way would people have expected that Killian Rousseau, with his 3 wins out of 4 races, would crash in this one and at the bottom of a split S, and he's flown thousands of them in his life. And he's dangling on the nets while Vicen Mayans is going around all by himself. That is so costly for Cyclone, as Vicen is surely going to score 4 points for Raiden here. And that means it'll be an 8-3 lead for them over Cyclone. This brilliant rivalry. It was so good throughout 2024, but it was always Cyclone except for that 1 blemish on their record when Raiden beat them in 1 matchup right at the start of the year. Now Raiden have beaten them in the first matchup of the season, and here in the finals they've got a good lead thanks to Vicen and Yuki. Congratulations, Vicen. Now, of course, normally there'd only be 1 more 2v2 to follow, but we're going to have 3 of them in the grand final. So the pilot's got to race again and again and again, and we get underway with good start from Cyclone. Yayu goes left at the bottom of the ladder. Everyone else went right. I wonder if that's a decision by Cyclone to send their pilots in opposite directions so they didn't crash and take each other out. Oh, and Vicen Mayans and Yayu have come together instead. Artem Mayans is in the side netting, as you can see, dangling in the distance. And Yayu is on the ground and lights out. So a tactical start hasn't extended into the race. Killian has got some catching up to do, as Yuki is about 4 gates ahead of him already with only a couple of laps flown. So Yuki off and looking for the 4 points, and Killian in the hunt behind him. I've said before how well these pilots know each other. They love racing together. You may well have seen Yuki in the pilot area earlier on talking with the other pilots, even when Raiden weren't racing. Obviously they move when it is race time, let me reassure you of that. But it shows what good friends they are as well as rivals. There's Yayu on the ground. Killian goes over him. Yuki has already flown all his laps. Killian brings it home now. Wow, that is 6 wins out of 8 for Yuki. Cyclone will be so glad Killian finished and picked up the 3 points. We go again. Watch Cyclone do the purple drone split. Yes, they do. Yayu goes left, Killian goes right. It's obviously intentional, and Yayu has to re-enter the top of the split S. So he's down in 4th. Vicen ahead of him. Then that's Killian's purple drone now heading towards the ladder, and hits it hard. Killian is out. Yuki's in the lead. Yayu is skimming it off the floor and only just keeping it alive. And Vicen, he had to repeat the entrance into the ladder earlier as well. Oh, it is untidy in 2nd and 3rd. But Yuki has absolutely no idea about the chaos behind him, as he is out in front again. There's Yayu pushing to try and get past Vicen. Yuki won't know, so maybe as he's coming back the other way, he might get a glimpse of them in his vision as they're coming towards him. Yayu has got comfortably again ahead of Vicen Mayan. No real challenge between the 2 of those right now, although it is untidy for Yayu. Cyclone's owner and his teammates must be hanging on and thinking, please get this finished. I'm sure he will, and he'll get the second. I don't think he's going to catch Yuki, and hopefully he's smart enough not to try with this big gap. There's Yuki finished. Cyclone's Yayu will get second. Vicen takes third. And a 7th win in 9 races. He's getting very used to this. Means that Raiden are basically unstoppable against Cyclone. Killian's drone doesn't have LEDs, but he's in the race. And they all turn around here, and Killian hits the top of the split air so hard, he wobbled the gate, but nothing fell down. And Yayu is embedded into the Foxeer gate and is going to light that up in purple all day long. That's not going anywhere. Killian, meanwhile, missed that DCL turn, so he's down in third. That orange drone is Yuki's, who's out in the lead, of course. He swings through UNICEF, clips the A2L gate, is on the floor. Now Vicen Mayans takes the lead, and actually Killian is in danger of being lapped by Raiden's pilot. Just look very carefully at Killian's drone. Remember, it's the one without the lights on. Vicen Mayans is coming close to it now as they're going through the ladder in the split S, and Vicen is going to pass him there, but misses the gate afterwards. So Killian's still not lapped, but he is still third, and Vicen is going to get past him now. Then Killian goes through that gate. Oh, Vicen brushes the floor after the A2RL gate. Yuki is into the side netting. I think that's where he's going to end. The dark drone of Killian is catching fire. There's smoke coming out of it. That's quite rare, but it does happen with the battery, so he's landed that safely. This is done. Over. Vicen Mayans gets the win. Raiden get a massive knockout against Cyclone. And we've got some action on track still. He's not one of our track marshals. I think he's from the venue and is just running in there and trying to help. We've got it covered. It's been dealt with. And for Raiden, Cyclone, they've been dealt with too. And look at all the love here between all these pilots. Big smiles from Yayu to the team who've just beaten him in the first big final of 2025. Remember, last year Cyclone won every final on their way to the World Championship. They don't start this year in the same fashion. Instead, it is Raiden who were in the lead at every stage of the grand final and get the big cup win. What an incredible set of battles you've just been treated to here on our amazing track in the ADNEC Centre. The very best pilots in the world, and that's just some of them. Those are just 2 of the members of each of those 4 teams, and all of those teams have many more pilots, and there are other teams in the DCL as well. You can see what happened last year and what happens throughout the rest of this year on youtube.com/Drone Champions League, and find out more on all of our social media as well. But, ladies and gentlemen, you've just seen, as I said many times, some of the very best in the world and a true showcase of a dramatic final race in the Falcon Cup Grand Final. What more could you ask for? New lap records, fire, and everything in between as well. Now, we must congratulate those pilots and all of the action they've given us, both earlier in the season that got them to qualify for Abu Dhabi and in the races you just saw. Please welcome, in the Falcon Cup Finals for the Drone Champions League, we welcome our prize givers, who are Michael Costa from the DCL and Stefan Tipano, who is the CEO of Aspire, ready to give our prizes, starting to our 3rd place team from Spain, SDT! Sally 1 and Plat on Air. Sally won a previous world champion of the DCL, Plat on Air, in his debut season of the Drone Champions League, helped his team get to the first of the 3 cup finals in 2025, and they were not far from being into the grand final as well. Your 3rd place team, it's Spain Drone Team SDT! Congratulations, SDT. Please just take a few steps to your left over there, if you wouldn't mind, just a few steps that way, and a few more. They're very quick at flying drones. They're not quite so quick without them. This way. This way, a bit more. This way. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's about the only time I'm faster than them, if I'm honest. Occasionally in commentary as well. Runners up after that incredible battle, though, ladies and gentlemen, you couldn't have asked for much more. They are the reigning DCL World Champions, and in the first Cup of 2025, they've realised this year won't be as one-sided as last year was. They are the legendary Cyclone Racing! Yayu and Kylian Russo, the best pilots in France, and definitely always in any list you'd ask anybody, drone racing fan or pilot, of the very best pilots in the world, reigning world champions. And Yayu and Kylian of Cyclone Racing, they are the only two pilots in the world who have won the DCL World Championship with two different teams. The current world champions and the Falcon Cup runners-up, they are Cyclone Racing! I don't need to push them quite as far. Shame, I quite enjoyed pushing them around. But after that battle in the 5 races in that grand final, they came from being the second place seed here to qualify for Abu Dhabi. They came from a disappointing couple of years over 2023 and 2024, and they battled through that and scored a lot of points and set some lap records along the way. The DCL Falcon Cup champions, they are Raiden Racing! Vicente Mayan and Yuki Hashimoto. Previous two-time DCL World Champions, Yuki the reigning men's individual FAI World Champion. Now winners of a title in 2025. The 3 teams, ladies and gentlemen, are top 3 teams of the Falcon Cup. Well, as the DCL always does with our amazing teams, we left everything out on the track. Now we have to pick up all of the pieces here at the ADNEC Centre in Abu Dhabi. What an incredible event, concluding our first ever DCL Falcon Cup season with the winners, Raiden Racing. The reigning DCL World Champion, Cyclone Racing, they only lost one matchup the whole of last year. That was against Raiden. Now, though, they haven't managed to pick up the first title as that team, Raiden Racing. They are the Falcon Cup champions. Does this send them on their way to getting that World Championship title back that they want so badly? Well, we've got a lot more racing to look forward to in 2025 with the DCL Eagle Cup and later the DCL Hawk Cup as well. So as we move towards those, keep in touch with all of our social media. Enjoy all of our races here on YouTube. And we'll see you, as always, in the skies. Oh, that was kind of perfect. I hope you're still recording as it goes dark.